Archbishop Oscar Romero, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Jean Donovan, Clement Kern, Dorothy Day. They weren't movie stars, rock stars, or famous athletes. They were people who lived lives of holy virtue. What do you want to be like when you grow up? Is it a famous entertainer or a saint? Father Solanus wanted all of us to become saints. There once was a young boy who idolized baseball players. But as you can guess, it was Father Solanus, a baseball fan himself, who set him straight.
"12-year-old Johnny Sullivan was the Detroit Tigers' #1 baseball fan. You see, Johnny's next-door neighbor was a famous Detroit Tiger player, Charlie Gehringer. Charlie was so good and predictable that the sports writers called him the Mechanical Man. Whenever another Tiger visited Charlie, Johnny was introduced to them. You could say Johnny worshipped every one of the Tigers. But at Catholic school, Johnny didn't want anything to do with the saints, God, or any of that spiritual stuff. It was 1940 when Charlie Gehringer gave Johnny's dad tickets to the World Series. Johnny was so excited. They were playing the Cincinnati Reds. On Sunday, October 6th, 1940, 55,000 fans jammed the Brick Stadium. The teams were tied 2 games each. And everyone said that if the Tigers won the 5th game, they'd probably win the series. Johnny went all out rooting for his team. He cheered every Tiger who came to bat. He cheered every Tiger who got on base or fielded a ball. He screamed every time Bobo Newsom, the Tiger pitcher, threw the ball. And he shouted loudest of all for his special hero, Charlie Gehringer. Every time he came to bat, Johnny would stand up and yell, "Knock the cover off the ball, Charlie!" And guess what? The Tigers won 8-0. It was a huge win. After the game, Johnny's voice was hoarse. He sounded like a bullfrog. Everyone thought his voice would return to normal in a day or 2. But Johnny's voice got worse. His parents took him to the doctor, but there was no improvement. Then they took him to a throat specialist, but there was nothing he could do. The doctor said to his mom, "Johnny's voice may be damaged for life." 5 months later, still no improvement. So Mrs. Sullivan brought Johnny to see Father Solanus. But Johnny didn't want to go see a priest. What could a priest do for him? Remember, Johnny was more interested in short stops than stopping at a church. But Father Solanus was different than Johnny expected. Father was a baseball fan too, and he wanted to hear all about the game. But poor Johnny. It hurt him to talk. So Father Solanus blessed Johnny's throat and told his mom, "Don't worry, there'll be a change in Johnny's voice before you get home." Johnny and his mom looked at each other. How was that possible? But it was. By the time they got home, Johnny was talking normally. This changed Johnny. Now he knew that Father Solanus was special, and he began to take more interest in the saints than in baseball heroes. 4 years later, Johnny's older brother Bill was in the army fighting the Germans at the Battle of the Bulge in World War II. Johnny's family was very worried about Bill. Johnny said, "Hey Mom, I got an idea. Let's go back to Father Solanus and ask him to pray for Bill." So the family went to Father Solanus and enrolled Bill in the Seraphic Mass Association. On the way out, Father Solanus said, Just don't worry about Bill. In a couple of days, you will receive word that he was injured, but don't worry. He'll be all right. 2 days later, Mrs. Sullivan received a phone call from France, and then a telegram. Bill had been injured in the war, and was going to a hospital in England where he would be safe. Oh, and by the way, in addition to Johnny losing his voice, the Detroit Tigers lost the series to the Reds. But Johnny was okay with that. He learned not to put his trust in baseball teams. He was rooting for the Saints. Blessed be God in all his designs, and go Tigers!